I'm sure most people, in a lot of the anime manga community have either read or watched Akame got killed. It was definitely one of those really hyped kind of series for a while when the anime was running because it was one of those real dark, real not nice to a lot of characters series. It had that kind of like Game of Thrones presence where pretty much anybody could die at any point. And I know the anime and manga kind of skewed because the anime got ahead of where the manga was at, and some of the events actually from the anime happened in the manga. So I imagine that the author probably gave them some word of what he was planning, and then just let them do whatever they want for the rest of it. But if you haven't read the series, or if you have, if you remember, Akame, lived in the end. She lost her sword. I'm pretty sure I had to go back and look. I remember she got the curse of her power, and that's why she has these marks on her body. As you can see, she doesn't have her sword anymore. I mean, she had to have at least not been in possession of it. Otherwise, she would have it in this series. But it's been a while since I've read or watched the Akame got killed. But this is the sequel, Hinowa got crushed, where Akame is present, but she's not the main character anymore. It's this character Hinowa, this like pink haired girl. And what's funny is in the first chapter, I read this series a long time ago, not a long time, it was not like 2.5 years old. But it was like right after it came out, I read the first chapter and I was like, oh cool. And then I forgot about it because I don't know, I think it was during, it didn't have official translations like now, it has a normal release on like Comixology if you want to check it out. That's like $2 an issue, which is fair for a monthly series. But in the first one, just mild spoilers, not like overall spoilers. In the first part, the main character, well, quote unquote main character, looks just like, Hinowa. Her name is Hinowa. And she actually dies against this character, Yomihime. And it's shown that her daughter is actually the main character who takes on the name Hinowa because she wants to carry on her mother's name and, make her a legend. Which is cool. I like that aspect of her. She's not doing it for herself. She's doing it for, her mother who fell in battle. And it's enjoyable. One of the things about it that's kind of funny, not in like a comedic sense, but just kind of like the way you look at the layout and just think of like what some of these characters could be experiencing. And the weapons in this series, they're much more just straight, it's a normal weapon with a slight buff. Some of the weapons in Akame got killed were pretty busted. I mean, just like thinking of like Ed's death, where hers she could stop time. You get something like Tatsumi, and the fact that his armor was constantly evolving and adapting, and he was just getting really powerful. Mine's sniper rifle, that it's like the more she's in danger, the more powerful it is. There were a lot bigger powers over in that series. And so I think the author just wanted to kind of get it way more honed, where he could have kind of like, instead of it being like, it's like this powerful group of rebels going against this dictatorship empire. It's more of a super powered war series, kind of like Kingdom, but with buffed weapons. Like the powers in this one, it doesn't seem even close to what Kame got Kill had, which I think it kind of like balances a little bit more, so you can have more of a warfare sense instead of it being just like big shots fighting it out. The fodder characters don't really matter. I laugh because the character Yomihime, she's very powerful. She's one of like the 10 stars of this nation, the Tenro nation, because like the whole plot, this like much smaller kind of nation. I'm trying to remember it's pronounced Sokai, I think how it's pronounced, and they're being kind of pressed by this bigger nation that's trying to conquer all the areas around it. And this character Yomihime is the one that killed the main character's mom. And Akame, who as if you've read all of Akame got Killed or watch it, she's very powerful. Funny, she had the name of the series Akame, but she wasn't the main character. Like Tatsumi was the main character, but she's the one that kind of made it fully out in the end, both the anime and the manga. She's way more prevalent and focus in the Akame got Killed Zero, like a prequel to the series. But we know that she's very, very skilled. And one of the things about it that makes me laugh is, again, it's not more comedic way, it's just kind of like the way you think about it, is when you think about all these characters in the sequel that are like, they got all their weapons, it's like, you put them in front of what, some of the powers in Akame got Kill had, and they'd probably like, this is bullshit. These guys got way better stuff than us. Like, I just imagine, like, you see all these guys and it's just like, put Esdeath on the field. She'd just maul through all these guys. But, Mihime, who's one of the better people of this enemy nation, she, like, fights Akame a couple times, and both times when she gets injured and escapes. And I'm just thinking, like, imagine if Akame had her sword from, her original sword. The one that's like, oh, it's a one-shot kill. It curses them and kills them upon a cut. I'm just like, could you imagine if you were that character, like this really powerful swordsman of this nation, and it's like, oh, I've met somebody that's better than me at the enemy, it's something to strive over, and it's like, not only are they weakened because, her whole body is, like, in pain and weighed down by this curse, but it's like, could you imagine being explained, it's like, oh yeah, I've heard of her, she used to have a sword that if it cuts you, it kills you in one shot. Can you just imagine, like, man, I'm lucky that she doesn't still have that. But the characters seem really cool. One of the things the author does, like, the author, I know that he's got I assume it's a dude. The series has a reputation of being a little bit edgy for the sake of being edgy sometimes, which is fine. I think that's part of the charm of some of, like, the weirder, kind of darker stuff. Like, one of the guys, like, he's a general, and Hinowa got crushed, like, likes to bang animals to kind of, like, get his head clear and ready for, like, being a strategist, which is really, really strange. But, and there's, like, one bad guy who likes to make furniture and, like, trinkets out of people. Like, at one point, he makes a tea kettle out of, like, body parts, and I'm just like, yeah, that guy's pretty crazy. But at the same time, the author's really good at making the antagonist as likable and human as the protagonist, which definitely can feel like that. Like I said, the guy who, like, makes furniture out of people's bodies, he's actually was so far one of my favorite characters in the sequel. My favorite, and why I'm using this one picture that's not either Hinowa or Akame, is this dude Hisame, who's really cool. I actually feel like he's the secret main character. Like, he's this really cool swordsman guy who's, his whole goal is to marry this, the princess of his nation, and that's why he's doing all this, and he's in this military, and he's trying to climb the ranks and stack up achievements and whatnot, and gain credibility. Actually, let me move this really quick and, make this a little bit bigger. I don't know why I just didn't do it this way. But the series is fun. If you like the first one, you'll like this one. It kind of has that same vibe. The only thing, again, that's different is the powers are a lot lower, because like the setup, like if they had some of the powers and then Akame got killed, like a lot of it wouldn't be warfare. Like, again, put Esdeath on the field. She can literally just run a train off of all of like all of these 10 stars of the Tenryou Nation at once. She just stopped time and put an ice spike to their face. But I mean, we don't know their full capabilities, but I imagine if they have anything to kind of compete with something like straight time stop, or like creating a giant ice army, or pretty much creating a nuclear winter, then unless they got something like that, I guess they can stack up. I mean, I doubt it, but we'll see. It's enjoyable. I think the characters are fun. The action's pretty enjoyable. The author, I think that the author's best sense, isn't like the fact that, again, like no characters feel like they have an armor that will keep them from dying. And the series is called Hinowa Got Crushed, and I imagine that she'll live at the end, but that's pretty much it. She's the only one that I imagine pretty much has that armor, because she's the main character. Like, not only that, the series is named after her. So every other character is like, oh, well, they could die. Even this guy, Hisame, who's, again, my favorite so far. The best thing that I would recommend, if you've never touched the author's series and you're just collecting this because you saw this video and you're interested, the best thing that this author does, I will 100% agree with, is he's really good at making the bad guys likable. Because it's not like, oh, they're just evil bad guys. He shows, like, obviously, like, he'll show reasons why they're malefic and vicious and whatnot, to show, like, yeah, these are enemies, these are bad for X and Y reasons. But he's also really good at showing their human side in order to kind of be able to vibe with them and say, I can kind of understand this. Like the guy who made furniture and whatnot out of people, he wasn't doing it like, oh, I'm just some evil guy and I want to kill you. He was trying to stack up the best he can to rise the ranks, because he really wanted to appease their nation's king. He was just very loyal, and he really wanted to do the best he could for his leader, which, again, is vile dude, but it's not like he was just like some bad guy. He was trying to do stuff for his own nation, and he was definitely evil, but and again, like at the same time, I can kind of respect his dedication, his loyalty, and his want just to do the best he can, you know? So, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about this. Like, again, what's funny, like, this dude Asame, dude's really cool. I like him. He's very, he doesn't seem to have a lot of understanding of, like, when people are, you know, kidding or joking. He's very serious all the time. But he's very fun. I enjoy him. I'm really hoping he lives in the end. He's the only character right now that I'm just like, well, him and the princess, to you know, he really wants to be married to. They're like the only characters that I'm like, please live to the end. If the princess somehow dies or something, that's different. I'm hoping he specifically lives to the very end. I think he's really cool, and I feel like he's the secret main character. Kind of like how even though the previous series is called Akame, Akame got killed, she wasn't the main character. It was Tatsumi. So comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about this, and tell me what, you know, if you've read it, or if you've read the other ones, if you know, if you're gonna pick this up, or maybe you're interested in the author in general. And other than that, I really appreciate thumbs up the video, press the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. I thank you all for listening. Bye.